I am originally from QEII, and I went to school in Ottawa where I met Rob in 91, just before my 20th birthday. And like any good maritime girl, I brought him back down east where we settled in Halifax. He just was so knowledgeable, and now I was just like, when things happen, I think, God, I wish Rob was here so I could ask him. If Avery was to talk about it, the one thing she misses, he always made sure he had playtime at night. They loved to build, do Duplo and Lego, and his favorite thing to do was to walk Avery to the school bus, and that was something that really motivated him later on when he was sick. That was their time. He walked to the bus every morning. We had been together a really long time before she came along, and we really grew up together. So we really were a team. October of 2022, he was having some headaches. The Thursday of that week, on November 3rd, we were back at the infirmary, and they did a scan, and it was brain cancer. It's the worst kind of brain cancer you can get. I'll never forget when he came out of the surgery, and he felt like this was going to be good news, and they took me in and told me that it was a GBM, and I wanted to be the one to tell him that, and I'll never forget. And I was so shocked at the same time when he said that. He said, well, I had 555 days that I wasn't supposed to. And I never in all our time knew that he was counting every day, and he was so grateful, and he was so right, because we had this time that we wouldn't have had. He did feel like he was given this gift for whatever reason. The universe decided he couldn't stay, but they decided that he wasn't done, and they let him live through that first experience, but it just didn't seem fair that he would have to go through that we would have to go through that again. He had really taken a turn for the worse and had been transferred into ICU. That's when we brought Avery in. And it's so scary in the ICU, but I remember the nurses. They made such an effort to get to know Avery, and remembered the name of her bear. And when we got back to the room, there was a gift bag. And I opened it up, and it was a bear. It was this bear. And Avery named him Jelly, because peanut butter bear and jelly. I was just so taken aback because it was from the ICU nurses, but then I realized that it had Rob's heartbeat. It's such a simple concept, but makes such a huge impact. I just felt so cared for, and that they realized what Avery must be going through, and just want to give my child a little bit of comfort. It was just one more way that we could connect with him. Daddy wasn't there to hug her at night, but Daddy's heartbeat was there.
Teddy Bears with Heart has become an integral component of the Three Wishes program here at QEII. It's a project that aims to demedicalize and humanize the death and dying process in ICU. It's very sad when we realize that despite best efforts, we've come to the end of that healing journey and have to transition to a comfort-based approach. One of our administrative assistants in the ICU thought to herself, what would I want in this situation? And what she came up with was getting a plush teddy bear with the heartbeat of the loved one recorded and put into the bear. And it basically just took off from there. It's a bittersweet moment, really, when we give these bears, because people are really grateful and they're really moved to have this tangible memory of a loved one, they have something that they can hold on to, put their arms around, and they can listen to their loved one's heartbeat. It's a bit healing, I think, for the frontline staff, in particular our nursing team, to be able to be a part of that gift and to physically hand something that the patients can hold on to. I would say a heartfelt thank you to all of our generous donors who have donated through the QE2 Foundation, because without them, none of this would be possible.
So I did become a QEII Changemaker, where I do automatically give monthly to give back to the places and the organizations that brought us comfort. I thank the donors, but I also thank all of those that took the time to care. I saw how busy and crazy they were, but we were still important. I just feel so privileged to be able to share our story with others, and say thank you to so many people that touched our lives at the QE. I would just encourage people to think about what the impact is, and don't discount what $40 would do, because this $40 was well spent, in my opinion, because of the impact it made on our family.